Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Roll Tide. Good morning.
Before we get into the good stuff, Coach Johnson, I do want you to do one thing for me. I know your basketball camp's coming up, and Jim Farmer called me yesterday and said his son was coming. Do me one favor. Keep his son in the defensive station the whole time because he plays no defense just like his daddy. So try to teach him some defense before he goes back to Nashville.
You know what? I was actually thinking about inviting Jim out for our defensive segment and allow him to teach defense to all of our campers. But then I thought, if I allow Jim Foreman to come out and teach defense to all our campers, we won't have any campers come back next year.
You'll lose credibility as well. So, Dad, could Jim Farmer guard anybody?
Well, the offensive players would come back because they'd score every trip.
People like to score.
Yeah, they'd score every trip. It wouldn't be any problem.
Yeah, but we're excited about our camps. And, we got 3 different levels of camps. We got our individual camps, which could be overnight or a day camp, team camps, which are basically almost filled at capacity, and then an elite camp. And it all starts June 19th. And folks can go on CoachAveryCamps.com to get more information.
That.
Well, I want to mention the NBA naturally, and you know certainly a lot more about it than I do. My only thought is that from a mental standpoint, after 2 pretty bad losses, this basketball team got themselves together, and LeBron got them together. And to me, the mental part makes the physical part much better. And the reason they got off to the great start is they were better defensively. They played harder. If they missed a shot, they played so hard they got a second one. So, you can cut it any way you want to cut it. And I'd like for you to tell us what you think, but that's an important thing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. More than anything, you don't want to undervalue Kevin Love's effect on his team. But, the Kevin Love injury was a little bit of a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways for Cleveland, because that was another negative. They got blown out in 2 games. Kevin Love is injured. The whole world thinks they're not going to win Game 3. Their backs are against the wall. So, they had an enormous amount of energy on both ends of the floor, especially the defensive end. They denied Steph Curry the ball. They didn't give Klay Thompson any space. They actually trapped the pick and rolls a lot more than they did in games 1 and 2. In games 1 and 2, Cleveland's defense was a little bit lazy with just some of their switches. But they trapped the pick and roll a little bit more, forced Golden State into some uncharacteristic turnovers. Steph Curry's production continues to be minimized, game by game. He hasn't played the same as he did in the regular season. And on top of it, because of Cleveland inserting Richard Jefferson into the lineup, a guy that has finals experience, he was able to match up more with guys like Iguodala, Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green, be more of a threat offensively, especially driving the basketball. So, and then Kyrie Irving just put on a show last night. He did what Russell Westbrook was doing against Golden State in the Western Conference Finals. He was in attack mode all night. He wasn't necessarily Robin to Batman with LeBron James. He was basically Batman a lot of times in that game. So they put an enormous amount of pressure on Golden State. That's what you got to do if they're going to have a chance to.
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask you about the Kevin Love situation. We talked about it a little bit before you got on. Now you're coming to Game 4. The media is going to blow it up. Are you going to start him? He hasn't sat on the bench since 2010. I said, hey, the best thing that could happen for the Cleveland Cavaliers is for Kevin Love to walk into Tyronn Lue's office and say, hey, Coach, bring me off the bench. I'm here for whatever you need. Hey, starting Richard was great. If you need me in the first quarter, I'm here. If that would happen, they could all band together. But how do you, as a coach, handle that situation with Love coming back Friday night?
You know what? You're absolutely right, Barry. I've seen a lot of situations like that, and that's the best thing Kevin could do. The problem is, and let me just go back a little bit, when I was in the media, and I said this, a year or 2 ago, 2 years ago rather, the problem is when people wanted to compare the big three of Cleveland with LeBron had in Miami.
Yeah.
Because Kevin Love is no Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh is a great two-way player. Kevin Love is a one-way player. And a lot of times when he's been on the floor, Golden State exploits his matchup. So if Kevin Love comes off the bench and plays against some backups instead of starters, they can run some offense through him a little bit more with a second team.
Good point.
That could be beneficial for Cleveland. The same thing when Steve Kerr got to Golden State, he brought Iguodala off the bench, started Harrison Barnes. That made all the difference in the world in their team. You brought a guy off the bench that had been starting for you, been an all-star at Philadelphia. So it's okay to mix it up a little bit. So I would agree with you that if Kevin Love is healthy for Game 4, it would be in the best interest of the team for him to come off the bench.
Yeah, so many times for the kid to accept it, it makes everybody feel so much better. How he handles that situation will be a big determination of which direction this series goes, I think.
Yeah, because you don't want it to be a distraction.
Yeah.
Because you're already dealing with a young head coach that's never coached in the finals, and you're dealing with a team that's pretty fragile overall. So, and the psyche of a team is critically important, especially in the finals.
Yeah.
Coach, you've got so many of your players, all your players here now. Whatever evaluation you can give our listeners, I'm sure they were interested in knowing how things are going with those kids and your feelings as much as you can give about your basketball program.
Well, let me just kind of recap last year, and I'll give you an answer. Last year, we had a solid year, laid a great foundation. Randall Bosheim was outstanding. He's doing a great job in the NBA pre-draft camps. He started off with one workout. He's probably going to end up with 15. Arthur Edwards has worked out for the Boston Celtics. They're interested in him joining their D-League team. So a lot of good things happened last year. We got some guys back this year. Some guys transferred, but the guys that wanted to be here, they're back, so we got some continuity. But last year, our problem overall was decision-making and scoring on offense. We feel we have some better decision-makers this year. Dejon Ingram is healthy. He's playing good. We got two red shirts, Avery Jr., Nick King, that are playing and eligible to play this year. Corbin Collins, our fifth-year guard, more of a combo guard. He's going to do a great job for us this year. Armand Davis shoots the lights out of the ball. So we're not going to probably have one guy make 72 threes like Arthur did last year, but we hope we have 4 or 5 guys that can make 50. Right. So we feel we're deeper. We only had about a 5.5, 6-man rotation last year. We're looking to probably have 10.5, 11 guys that we feel comfortable putting on the floor so that we can play faster, score more points, and not put as much pressure on our defense. So, and then we have a guy like Daniel Giddings that's a red shirt sitting out, a guy that's going to be an outstanding player, 6'10.5", that transferred here from a Big Ten school. So, we feel we're going to be better this year in a lot of ways. But we're going to be releasing our schedule in the next week or two, which is going to be a pretty, strong non-conference schedule. So, but we were in here working this morning at 6. We worked out yesterday. So the guys are putting in a lot of work. They're getting stronger. They're getting better because we want to take a little bit of a step forward this year. And whether that means making the tournament or whatever, but if we can get in play and be on the bubble like we were last year, hopefully we'll be able to get in.
Good.
Coach, update us on Dejon Ingram. Everybody's wanting to know about his foot. Is he able to work out with you guys right now this summer? What's his status?
Yeah, Barry, Dejon is completely healthy. Right now it's just all about getting his timing back, getting his body, back in shape the way we know, at a level where he can compete, 30-plus minutes a game. But he's healthy. He's basically going through contact in practice. We're still, he's like a pitcher. We still have him on a pitch count.
Yeah.
So, he's not throwing 120 pitches. Maybe he's throwing 90. But he's doing great. Everybody is practicing except Shannon Hill. Shannon had another foot surgery here about 6-8 weeks ago, but post-surgery, he's doing great. He'll be in a soft cast sometime next week, but he's making a lot of progress. We hope to have him back on the court 100% in August.
Coach, we're talking to Avery Johnson. I wanted to ask you about the meetings in Destin. Mike Transgisi, I think he addressed the basketball coaches down there. What was his message to you guys about SEC basketball, and what did you take out of the meetings in Destin?
Yeah, we're glad to have Mike on board, working with the SEC office and Greg Sankey, our commissioner. And, he brings a wealth of experience from the Big East. He's very well respected, very knowledgeable. He understands, some of the issues that we have in the SEC, and that's why we only had 3 teams or 2.5 teams make it to the tournament. So he's got some great ideas. We got some areas we all need to improve in as coaches. We obviously got to recruit better. We can't just have Kentucky recruit and Kentucky and the rest of us. It's kind of like the Michael Jackson and Jackson 5. We can't. We gotta be a part of the headline group, and we gotta have more than one team that's getting superior talent, and there's a lot of kids out there in the state of Alabama, yes, and all over the country. So we have some ideas. We have some areas that need some significant work. I shared some ideas with them on, from whether it's media or whatever it is, and we'll get there. And Mike's going to be a great asset for the SEC.
Shouldn't you? I think I heard Frank Martin or somebody say this. I think sometimes as basketball coaches, we don't look at football as a positive, but shouldn't football be a positive at all the SEC institutions, and you get with it and use it to your advantage? And I think you've done that here at Alabama. I know you guys have the tailgates and all that stuff there. And just talk about that for a minute.
You're right, Barry. One of the first things I did when I came on campus was I went and talked to Nick Saban, because I wanted to get on the same page with Coach Saban. And we're on the same page, and he's been a great resource for me and on a lot of different levels, whether it's coaching, teaching me some things about the University of Alabama, recruiting. He's just been unbelievable. And that's one of the things I share. Every SEC school should try to build a relationship with football and not fight it, because they can be an asset in so many ways. So that's something that was talked about. I think coaches are open to it, and but we have to step it up in the SEC. There's no reason in the world we shouldn't get 5, 6, or 7 teams in the tournament annually. So we got a lot of work to do.
Well, we've got we've got a lot of players in the state, not a lot, but some. And we've got some out of state. I know that you guys are recruiting, and I think that's probably the best way to do it. You try to do a good job in the state and make people interested, and you work very hard out of state. I think with your personality and your the abilities that you've had not only last year but in the NBA, that you're getting well received. I know you are by the coaches. We tried to do that. When I was a no-name guy when I got the job, so I had to work pretty hard. But I think you've done a really good job there.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's the key. And you and I talk about it all the time. And even when we played golf recently in the Alabama Celebrity Tournament, which, by the way, you nor I hit the ball very good.
No,
glad it's not our day job.
No, I can't speak about your swing, but I can speak about his. I know where y'all spent most of your time in the woods talking.
Well, we were talking. We were busy.
Y'all were in the woods talking then.
But I think the key is, the players in Alabama that has an interest in the University of Alabama, and they're high-level kids and high-character kids, we want to be involved. The kids that don't, we have to change their mind. But at the same time, we got to be flexible. Wherever the kids are in or out of state that can help our program get to that next level, we want to try to get them here on campus, show them what a beautiful campus we have, how we continue to improve our facilities, talk to them about how the University of Alabama, not just the FCC, but Alabama, the university and that administration are very committed to basketball. And we're not just going to be a football school. You can see it. There had a stat that came out yesterday on how we had the second largest increase in our attendance. That's a testimony to all the hard work that my coaching staff and the administration and our players are putting in every night. And we went from 10,000 fans to 13,000. And then next year, hopefully the key will be when we have a sellout, that we actually have people in the seats, that it looks like a sellout and not just recorded as a sellout. So we have a lot of work to do, but we feel we're going in the right direction, and we feel we're appealing to kids in our state of Alabama, outside the state, and we're making up some ground. But, getting out there on the AAU circuit and recruiting and phone calls and all of the different things. And we added John Pelfrey to our staff, and he has a tremendous amount of experience in the FCC, both as a player and a coach. So, we feel we're headed in the right direction in terms of the kids, the type of kids that we're recruiting.
Talk a minute about your elite camp. I think you guys have an elite camp, and that's a great time for you guys to get these prospects on campus, being able to show them the campus, but also getting in the gym and really, really working with them and kind of seeing where they need to improve. Just talk about your elite camp and how important that is to your program.
Yeah, that's important, because normally for the elite camp, it's a small group of kids, and we get some pretty high-level kids in that camp, and it gives us a chance to work with them and coach them and run them, put them through some offense and defense and see how they adjust and adapt. And it's a real intimate time. And, I can't mention any names, but one of the kids that we're really close with for 2017, he was in our elite camp. So, it's great building those relationships. The more we can get parents and those kids on campus, spend time with our coaching staff and our offices, get a chance to talk to our players about, how they feel about us as a staff, playing for us, see all of our great facilities. We teach them about our past, that we've had a tremendous amount of players like Robert Ory and Mo Williams, who's in the final, and Antonio McDyess, Derek McKee, Sprewell, all of those guys that have played in the NBA. We've had coaches, great coaches like Wimp Sanderson here on campus. So we got a proud tradition. And just being able to show them and expose them to that, whether it's through an elite camp, individual camp, or team camp, is very important for us moving forward.
Well, you're certainly doing a great job, and I know you're busy. We're going to let you go because I know you got things to do. But thank you so much for being on. We try not to bug you very much, but we did want to get you on and talk a little bit about the NBA and a little bit about your camp in case that you needed some more people to join up. So thank you, and I'll see you somewhere along the line for long.
Okay, well, thanks, Will. Thanks, Barry. Roll Tide.